Action. Lights, camera, action. Good morning. Good day, everybody. This is Yin Yang with Morsels of Thought number 1464. And I'm in California with Morsels of a Thought. We try to give you some wisdom because knowing the right thing to do is wisdom. And then the fortune cookie said, virtue is the actual doing of it. So we try to inspire you to have a great day and impart something good and entertain you a little and possibly educate the world. We are with a book, Listen, Learn, Love, How to Dramatically Improve Your Relationships in 30 Days or Less by Susie Albert Miller. Last time I said Susan Albert Miller, which may have been technically correct, but that's not what the book says. It's Susie Albert Miller. Sorry, Susie, about that. That was last time. And today it is Saturday. Happy New Year to everybody. I hope everybody is well on their way to their newest resolutions or promises to themselves. And we are here to educate and entertain and impart and inspire you to have a great day. So, Susie Albert Miller, we are on page 5, which is You Don't Have to Settle for Less Than. That's the first chapter. Consistent with my love of art, I have numerous pairs of artsy glasses. I now have 3 different kinds of glasses, one for distance, one for reading, and a third pair called computer distance glasses, somewhere between the strength of the first 2 pairs. Juggling them is a comedy act, and invariably I have a pair perched on my head while simultaneously trying to find them. Sounds like me, my mom. My eyesight isn't terrible, and I can get away without wearing them, but I miss the finer details when I do. And I have to make the font on my iPhone or Kindle extra large to read it without the use of reading glasses. I don't particularly like glasses, so I squint and struggle to see when I am too vain to wear them. Learning is a bit like that. It isn't always easy and comfortable. It requires us to set aside our assumptions and pay attention to what is happening below the surface. All of us need to check our vision and be attuned to information obscured by masks or the polish we all wear to present the me we think people want to see. As we learn about people, we often need new lenses to see the real people behind the facades and first impressions, as well as our assumptions about others. Best-selling author Glennon Doyle, Glennon Doyle, calls this wearing perspectacles, a brilliant word and a profoundly clear way to understand this concept. We all need perspectacles to see beyond the obvious, set aside our preconceived notions, look beneath the surface, and learn about one another in order to create deeper levels of connection. Hearts are funny things. Like the word love, they have been overused and cheapened, yet they still signify the deepest part of us. Look around at all the ways we use and misuse hearts. You have my whole heart for my whole life. I heart you, letter U, dotting the letter I with a heart. We talk about being broken-hearted, hard-hearted, full-hearted, wholehearted. Our hearts are essential to life, literally and figuratively. Learning to love well, being vulnerable, authentic, connected, and sacrificial comes from our heart as much as our mind. As a coach and therapist, one of the first things I do is teach the principles of listen, learn, love. Once people begin applying these skills, they can't wait to tell me about the meaningful conversations, increased intimacy, and deeper connections they enjoy with the people in their lives. They sometimes think I am a magician or a miracle worker. I assure them it is their efforts to learn and use these skills that are responsible for the positive changes in their relationship. Now, you can create this same type of relationship magic, quote unquote, by learning and practicing them as well. A virtual personal chat. Imagine we are sitting in my office, comfy chairs, pumpkin scented candle burning with a good cup of coffee and time to chat, share, learn, question, clarify, and wonder. Time together to learn these skills and explore how they apply specifically to you and your relationships. This is how, that is how I wrote this book, with a picture of you, the reader, taped to my computer, picturing the scene above. While you may not be a client or in one of my coaching programs yet, we can share some virtual coffee and conversation. Whether I am coaching clients in person or virtually, speaking or teaching about how to create better relationships, rekindle your romance, become a confident parent, grow deeper in your faith, not sacrifice your marriage while growing a successful business, or building a strong collaborative team in your company, no matter what the subject is, I have never met anyone who didn't want to improve one or more of their relationships and just wasn't sure how to go about it. That is why I wrote this book. So, no matter what our past or future involvement may be, you will have firsthand knowledge of the foundational skills used in all my coaching, speaking, and writing to successfully help people create better relationships. Listen, learn, love can be universally applied to all of your relationships: loved ones, spouse, partner, significant other, kids, and yes, even teens, parents, siblings, friends, and coworkers. Why? Because they address the core needs of all good relationships. We all long to be seen, heard, known, loved, and feel valued. In the classic movie Shall We Dance, there is a scene in which Beverly Clark, the wife of the main character, John, is talking with a private detective who has been investigating if her husband is being unfaithful. The PI meets Beverly to report that John is not a wayward spouse. His strange absences and behavior are because he is taking dance lessons. Mystified by John's secrecy, Beverly gets misty-eyed and quiet. After a few moments of reflection, she asks the PI if he knows why people get married. He offers a banal reply. Shaking her head, Beverly softly replies, "We get married because we want someone to bear witness to our lives. We want to know that we matter." In our quiet moments, maybe late at night, when we can't fall asleep, or the wee hours of the morning alone with our coffee and the breaking dawn, we know it's true. We are hardwired for connection. We can't escape the fact that we are created for relationships. We want to belong, to know we matter. What an elegant and wise way to express the reason we willingly slog through tough and challenging relationships. We hope they get better. We make efforts to improve them, and in our utter optimism, we keep risking in order to develop lasting and meaningful ones. Think about relationships in your life that bring you satisfaction, joy, and growth. They probably also have some level of struggle or conflict. Do you throw up your hands and walk away, bury it under the carpet, and hope it gets better? Or maybe punt and find a new friend? Wouldn't you agree that none of these is the best solution? Relationships, messy and mediocre or to glorious and grand, are the most valuable thing in our lives and worth our investment of time and energy. Join me in exploring how listen, learn, love can help. So I want to say hello, good morning, John Clark. Do you take dance lessons, and does Barbara know about them? That's really cute. And I want to say hello to everybody else, like Mandy Alexi, Gina Bortov, and all the people that come by. How to get the most from this book. In the coming chapters, I will unpack each skill with anecdotes and examples as if we were having a conversation. As if we are having a conversation. Together, we will walk through some specific examples and tips, followed by ideas and action steps to practice and apply in your own relationships. Listen, learn, love are the tools needed to handle times of conflict and struggle, create better relationships, and improve your quality of life. Relationships are the currency of today. Connecting with people and the ability to build positive and fulfilling relationships are the most important skills we can develop. At work, at home, at play, relationships matter. Please take the time to put yourself in the scenes and situations described. I have tried to include examples of listen, learn, love in multiple types of relationships. As you read, imagine how you would handle the situations both before and after learning each skill. Practice them by replaying the scenarios in your mind, taking notes, and then actually trying them out in your different relationships. If you use these skills, you will see results. Your personal and professional relationships will dramatically improve. If you don't practice and use them, if you do nothing, then nothing will change. Take notes and make notes. I would love for you to be engaged in the process. Interaction is the first step toward integration, and the goal is to integrate these principles so they become second nature. If you are a paper book reader, go ahead, break the rules, and write in the margins of the book. I mean it. I mean it. Thoughts, people, and situations will come to mind as you are reading. Jot them down. I like to pretend I will remember the important points or thoughts that come to mind as I am reading, but I don't remember. So, writing them down is the best solution. Dog ear the pages that resonate with you. Underline things you want to remember. Mark up this book. My favorite books are filled with underlining, squiggles, stars, notes, and dog eared pages so I can quickly find the most helpful or enjoyable parts. If you are an ebook reader or an audiobook listener, pick up a journal and take notes or highlight the next and or make notes on your e-reader. Sync them on to Evernote with a capital E. Do whatever you need to mark areas of interest you want to remember. Either way, let this be an interactive process and you will begin to create the changes you desire in your relationships. Good books, helpful and useful ones, are like friends, visited often to remember, reminisce, and learn from. I hope this book is like that for you. So, grab a pencil, a cup of coffee, and let's get started at learning how you can dramatically improve your personal and professional relationships. A few thoughts before we dive in. For clarity and brevity, I will use one term throughout this book to apply to many terms. Loved ones. Anyone you love or care deeply about. Spouse. Partner, significant other, a committed romantic relationship. When I use a gender specific pronoun, feel free to substitute the one that fits your life. Businessman, businesswoman, entrepreneur, male or female, used interchangeably. Business, career, work, entrepreneurial endeavor, used interchangeably. Co-worker, colleague, business associate, virtual assistant, anyone you work with in any capacity. Customer, client, patient, used interchangeably. Family, immediate and extended family, siblings, parents, in-laws. Friends, close friends you do life with, quote unquote, not acquaintances, customers, or clients. Anecdotes and examples. Some are personal stories from my own life. Others are a composite of stories drawn from over 25 years of working with people. None of the examples or anecdotes are an exact representation of any one person, event, or client. I use fictional names and mix up details in order to protect the privacy of my clients. Thus, if you think you see yourself in a story, rest assured it probably isn't you, but rather an amalgamation of client stories woven together to create an example. Create an example. Unless you specifically give me permission to use your story, you aren't in the book. I hold your stories sacred and in confidence. Relationship avatar. You know the picture that comes up on your phone when someone calls you, or their thumbnail photo on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or other social media, or the little photo that shows up in your Outlook or Google next to an email from them? Well, that picture is their avatar, a visual image or representation of a person. So, your relationship avatar is a visual image, picture, or snapshot that comes to mind when you think of a specific relationship. Whenever I reference your relationship avatar, I want you to picture that image, that person, and the relationship it represents as you read examples, scenarios, and action steps. You can use different relationship avatars from your multiple types of relationships or the same ones for all the skills. It's up to you. The purpose is to personalize this book to your life and relationships so you can begin to make changes and improve them. Practicing listen, learn, love. To help you practice these skills, each chapter ends with unique action steps and application ideas to use with your relationship avatars while you are reading. You can then apply them to your various real life relationships. Be bold and give them a try. Remember, change and growth happen by making an effort and taking one step forward, then doing it over and over again. It might encourage you to know that I am on this journey with you. In fact, while writing this book, a number of relationships and people came to mind, which required me to be bold or humble and use listen, learn, love skills to improve our relationships. So let's grow together. It's important to know you're not in this alone. I would love to hear about moments of connection, understanding, increased ease, or how practicing and implementing these skills impacted your relationships. And if you feel you need more time, tools, help, or encouragement, I want to support and encourage you on your journey. Be sure to connect with me at susiemiller.com and we can become email friends. Remember, we are in this together. We're all in this together. I can't wait to connect and hear your stories. So that's what she says. That was chapter one. And we can start a little on chapter two. Chapter two, relationships are the currency of today. Now, I want to talk a little bit about cultural currency. Cultural currency is the kind of thing you bring to the table in your being a whole person and your culture, your experiences. Cultural currency is the way that you are a human value to the world. It is not your financial net worth. It's different from financial value. You can be very poor and yet have an incredible amount of cultural currency because you have a huge human value to the world. For example, the woman that I showed you, who saves children from trafficking. Do you remember that? I showed you that photo of her. She looks just like a regular person, and yet look at that value she brings to the world. She saves children, and she saves adult people too. And it's amazing. I wanted to get an interview with her. She is in, oh, I don't know where she's from, but she's American, and she was at the luncheon that the former Nevada Attorney General had on the day after the previous secret knock that I attended in September. He had the luncheon on September 13th, which happened to be a Friday, and a lot of people were there who have a great deal of cultural currency. Um, the authors were there. I met authors. I met people who are friends of authors, and it was just a wonderful, wonderful deal. Anyway, so relationships are the currency of today. Susie Albert Miller says that too. Relationships are all there is. Everything in the universe only exists because it is in relationship to everything else. Nothing exists in isolation. We have to stop pretending we are individuals that can go it alone. That's by Margaret Wheatley. It's the truth. We have the human being is defined as being a social animal in a introductory psychology textbook. And that's the first sentence that comes out of chapter 1 in that particular textbook. The human being is a social animal. We can't really, in other words, even if you're a hermit in the mountains, even if you're a hermit, the reason you're there is that you want to create a distance between yourself and other humans. And this is still a relationship this hermit is having with the rest of society. Nobody is listening in education in isolation. Nobody is living in isolation. That's what I wanted to say. And the people that go into hermitude, become hermits, are people who need to take a break from society because they have had their fill of relationships, either good or bad or just too much. And that is still a form of containing social currency, social human value currency. So next week we will start more on chapter 2. Relationships are the currency of today. I would like to say that relationships have always been our currency as human beings since the start of the dawn of mankind. It's amazing how we haven't changed that much in tens of thousands of years, actually. There are people that have been discovered in ice caves and all that that are dressed like we would dress if we were living in the forest today or something. The woven sandals, the ropes and things that they have. Anyway, that's what I wanted to say. Okay, so I will talk to you later. I hope you guys have a great day. Old Kinderhead.